Good day, y'all. I'm Veronica Marie, and it's what I'm calling Transparent Tuesday. So, I'm just gonna talk to you in a very informal way about my journey, um, particularly getting started on my journey, because sometimes people see the end product and they don't know what you've been through to get here. So, I, like a lot of people, have trouble showing up in certain regards, especially where it relates to leadership. Now, my parents groomed me for leadership, so I'm not afraid to lead. However, um, I've had to work significantly um, at owning my leadership, and it's taken a lot of time, a lot of work, right? And I know where that struggle came from. It came from the church, because inside the church you're told that you can't help anybody if you're struggling with the thing itself, and that is the biggest lie I've ever heard. So I lived with that feeling of not being enough, of um, disempowerment. And it prevented me from helping people. It prevented me from showing up, because it said I must meet a certain standard to begin what I feel called to begin. The wind out here. I think I might just have to come back later. Ooh, because um, when I'm outside and the wind is blowing, it causes bronchial spasms, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to talk about it. I'll try again. So it made me think that I couldn't help people. I felt like I had to meet some kind of standard before I started helping people, and that's a lie. While I was in marital coaching and couples coaching, I helped so many people while my marriage was crumbling. I helped so many people while I was depressed. When Spirit begins to give you a message and you're open as a vessel, then the message is hitting you first and changing, transforming things inside of you, and then it's hitting the other person. That is the biggest lie I've ever heard. You can't help people if you're not doing a thing yourself. For years, I was a weight loss specialist, certified, and I wasn't eating right and I wasn't losing weight, but I was helping other people do it, right? So somewhere in this culture of social media and in religious circles, we think I need to be a guru before I get started helping people. I need to do this before, I need to do that before. Sure, there's some level of preparation, but a lot of times the preparation has come through your life experience already, through the wisdom that you have already, and all that's left is for you to show up. So I was the type of person where I had to get certified for everything. Anything I was going to do, I had to get a certification, because I had an insecurity about sharing the information that I had. So anything I wanted to be, I was going to sign up for the certification. And if I'm not careful, I'll do the same thing still. Signing up for everything, trying to get certified for everything. Meanwhile, not showing up. Meanwhile, waiting for the certification. And guess what will happen? Once you get the certification and the license, if you haven't dealt with the inner issues, you're still going to be finding another reason not to show up. Right? So this is a transparent moment. Early on, I was called into ministry, but I grew up in a family, in a culture where women were not able to do that. So when I answered the call into the ministry, there was immediately this conflict and clashing between what I had grown up in and what I felt called to do. So for a long time, I wouldn't call myself minister. Just call me Veronica. You don't have to call me Minister Veronica. You don't have to call me Minister Montgomery. I just help people. Oh, just glory to God. I just help people. Okay, that was my way of playing small. Because when I would get up to preach, when I would get up to teach, or in individual sessions, it was clear what my calling was. All right. Again, inside the church structure, there's this thing where they say some were called, some were sent, some just got up and went. And that is used to shame people, right? So if you didn't sit under a particular teacher, if you didn't go through a particular protocol, then you had no ability or right to minister in a certain way. Sure, you could minister to regular people, but you couldn't exalt yourself as a minister. You couldn't take on that title. And that seeped into my psyche. And so I would feel led to do certain things, to start certain programs, certain groups or whatever. And I didn't do it because I felt like I didn't meet the standard yet. See, in my life and in my astrology as well, I have a super respect for authority. So I don't want to trample on anybody's feet. I have this perfectionist thing that I heal every day where I want to do the right thing in the right way. And that all hinders us from moving forward, from showing up, right? So then you got this other thing in psychology. It's a whole psychological situation where you feel like a hypocrite if you're helping somebody with a thing, but you have that same problem, all right? Imposter syndrome. So can you imagine all the therapists and all the counselors and all the ministers, all the people everywhere who are suffering or dealing with or working through the same thing that they're helping others work through? There's a reason for it. And the reason is because usually what you are overcoming is part of your service to the collective, to the community. There's a reason for your working through this while other people coming to you with the same problem. You're able to look at them and see things about yourself that will help you. It's not all about helping them, but it is part of it is. The other part is looking at them and seeing things about you that you can't see. It doesn't mean don't help them. It doesn't mean don't call yourself this or that. What it means is that you have to understand that life is not always black and white. Sometimes it's gray. Sometimes you're going to find yourself talking about things that you feel you have no right to talk about, no expertise. But when Spirit gives you a message, you got to give the message out, right? And so I dealt with that for a long time. I don't like titles. You don't have to call me this. Yes, you do have to call me coach. Yes, you do have to call me minister. You know why? Because that's an archetype. Yes, I'm a teacher. And if I don't say I'm a teacher, if I don't show up as a teacher, if you don't receive the teacher broadcast from me, how can I help you? You know, but we wait around for structures and systems to validate how we show up, right? I got certified as a life coach. So after that wasn't enough. I needed to sign up with the Christian Coaches Association because I was in fear that somebody was going to come and ask me, well, who certified you? What are you a part of? I was projecting that out into the world. Guess what? Nobody ever asked me who trained me because the work spoke for itself. Nobody asked me what association I was a part of. I was paying dues and fees to satisfy myself because out in the collective, they had already received me as what I was. I didn't receive myself. I had to put certified life coach on everything so that I would feel that, so that people would know that I'm legit. No, I was legit before I became a certified life coach. I brought my wisdom into the life coaching paradigm. I remember when I started my life coach training program, the same thing. How dare, on the inside, the voice is, who am I to call myself a life coach trainer? I just became a life coach. Mind you, I've been coaching for over a decade, but just because I received that certification, I thought that's the point where I became a life coach. No, I've been living in a life coach capacity for over a decade. Now I have the certification and I have the wisdom, the experience, and now the tools to train other life coaches. So I started my program. That was back 2014, 2015. There were two people during that time of training life coaches that asked me, who trained you? And guess what? They were just my projection. So I told them, right? And they were like, oh, they went to that organization to get certified rather than to me. Then I began to see the issue, and projecting that out into the reality. I'm going to make people go to other systems, other organizations when I'm called, when I have the skill, simply because I don't want to show up, simply because I don't want to call myself a thing, because I don't want the people who are higher than me, know more than me, been in it longer than me, to think I'm thinking too much of myself. I think too much of myself in a lot of people's opinion. But worrying about what they think about me has not grown my business, not one iota. It would cause me to shut down if I didn't speak up. There's plenty of coaches and trainers who know more than me, but there's plenty of people who don't know what I know. And those are the people that I'm here for. And the ones who know more than me, well, that's fine, because I'm on my journey to get more as well. But I'm not going to be stagnant. I'm not going to stop working. I'm not going to play small just because I'm in a learning process. Life is a whole learning process, right? So I started going back. So I started a minister page on Facebook. You're welcome, Cheryl. I started a minister page on Facebook because I was trying to come into that archetype, right? That energy. And it was so uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable, but I did it anyway. I got this superpower that I do things even though I'm afraid, and I win every single time. Hey, Terry. So then, okay, so I got my life coach certification, and this is very informal, so I'm all over the place as the ideas come to me, and I take liberty to do that, all right, because I'm sitting down talking with you. So when I became a life coach, I started my coach page, but I wouldn't call myself Coach Veronica. I just called myself Veronica Montgomery. When I started my training program, I wouldn't put my face and name on the company. So I made it very generic because I was scared that people were going to see me as a woman, as a black woman, as a young black woman, and they were not going to respect me. So I named my company Dominion Life. And I got a generic logo, so you can't tell if I'm male, female, or other. Now, what I thought was this was the way I was going to draw people. By being generic, they can't tell who I am, they're just going to come. No. Let me tell you when they started coming. When I got on Facebook Live, all the people who have been watching me for years, and I said, y'all, I'm starting my life coach training program, and I'm looking for people to sign up. And I started talking about it. I started talking about cycles and behavior, all the things that I already knew. These weren't even life coaching things. These were things that I've gotten from my life experience, years of reading books and watching videos. You know how much study we put in? Watching videos, listening to people, journaling, and all of this stuff. This is our training. This is our training. But the matrix has us thinking that we need a particular thing a particular way. You don't. As always, get more skill. Increase your value, but still move while you're doing it, right? So I'm all for education. I'm all for honing skills. I do that all the time. I'm constantly in study, but I'm constantly giving out because it's a loop, right? I can't just get all the information, wait until I'm looking a certain way and being a certain way, and then, because that's information based, then I think the information is going to draw people. No, you are going to draw people. Your story, your personality, all right? Not even the end product, because there's a lot of people who don't want to work with me because they think I've always been fit. So I got to sit down and I got to tell stories like this. People want to know that they can relate to you. Brandy said, I'm only here because it's you. Thank you, Brandy. When I started teaching fitness, group fitness, I had just started working out 2 weeks ago. And all of a sudden, I get this urge that I want to teach. Immediately, my inner voice kicked in. Who are you to teach somebody? You just started working out 2 weeks ago. You don't even look like you work out. What are you talking about? They're not going to come to your class, and you can't really dance. You don't have rhythm. You've never had rhythm. You never worked in a gym. All of those things started coming into my mind. And so I sat on that thought for a couple of weeks. And then I went and I applied at the gym. Still didn't look like an instructor, in my opinion, right? I was my heaviest. I hadn't even started losing weight yet, right? Applied at the gym. They hired me. Without training, without experience, without looking the part. And they even offered to send me the training. They waited until I got finished training, and a week and a half out of training, a week and a half out of training, I had my first class. That's unheard of. In a couple of months, I was on the schedule everywhere at Gold's Gym. Unheard of. I thought to myself, the people who attend these dance classes, they had wonderful instructors. Eric, Michael Lang, Amia. They're part of my Facebook family right now. They're not coming to my class. Really. Guess what? The class got fuller and fuller. The demographic even changed. You know why? Because people started looking at me and saying, okay, if she can do this, and I see this happening with her, I can do it too. Instructors, people who were not instructors, started saying, you've inspired me to go to instructor training. Tell me how to do it, right? By showing up in the state that I was in, but in the confidence of my calling and purpose, I was able to put out a broadcast to people, and they got it, and they came. I didn't go out passing out flyers saying people come to my class or nothing like that. I just got up there and did what I needed to do. And there were naysayers, okay? There were people who criticized my class. I remember this one lady was like, you are not a good instructor. You did better in this other format, but you're not good at this one. I've had people walk out of class. I've had people not like my music, but I've had many more come. You know, so you're going to get some opposition, but guess what? That opposition is just what's going on inside showing up on the outside. I was scared that people were not going to like my music selection, so there were some people who didn't like it. But I loved my music selection, so I also manifested it and attracted people who loved it. You see, we're constantly creating, attracting, and manifesting with all these belief systems, right? So I'm driving this point home because there's somebody sitting on the other side of the camera watching this and thinking that he or she cannot step into purpose until they do X, Y, or Z. Now, of course, there's some things where that's true. For example, you're not going to become a medical doctor without going to medical school. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those of you out there who, for example, want to be a coach, but you're waiting for this to happen, that to happen. Very likely that's a pattern you have. A pattern of feeling like not enough and needing to get enough before you actually start doing the thing. Me too, Cheryl, right here. I have to manage that every single day. There's somebody out there that wants to show up in her business, but she or he is scared that the people around are going to look and go, who is she to get started? She just blah, blah, blah. Didn't I just see her doing this? You're scared. Show up anyway. I'm telling you because I've done it. I'm telling you because I've done it. I'm telling you because I do it every single day. When I started fitness coaching outside of the gym, I had no clue about lifting weights. I had never lifted a weight. All right, not in a significant way. When I was younger, I used to have a boyfriend who worked out at the gym, and I used to kind of do something, but it wasn't anything serious. But when I became a coach, I never lifted weights. There were people around me who were weightlifters, right? So I could have been intimidated and been like, you know what, I don't know anything. They know everything. I'm just going to wait until I figure it out. I didn't. I said to my coach, John, I said, John, tell me what a coach is. He said, a coach is a person who gets on their journey and invites other people. And I was like, okay. He said, a coach is not an expert. I was like, okay. Made me think about my life coach training, because I teach that. A coach is not an expert. Not in what you're going through. A coach is a change expert. And a coach will journey with you, right? So I know the way of change. In other words, I know how to change. Come with me, right? So I got on Facebook Live again, just like I did with my life coach training, just like I did with my life coach practice. I got on Facebook Live again. I don't pay for marketing, never have. I've played around with Facebook ads from time to time, maybe spent $5, okay? But I got on Facebook Live, and this is what I said. Y'all know I dance, but I'm ready to take my body to another level. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't even know if I'm gonna finish. But what I know is that, number one, I need to start resistance training. I need to start resistance training because as we age, resistance training helps to make stronger bones. I need that. I need my metabolism to increase. I know this because it's not true that as we get older, it's harder to lose weight. It's harder to lose weight when you keep losing your muscle mass from not using it. And I know I need to eat right. I know I need a system. These are all the things I know. I cannot see what the outcome is going to be, but this is where I'm going. And I want to invite whoever wants to come. And they came. And they came. And they came. I was so successful in those first few months. Like, I had people who were in the business for years asking, how did you do it? I just showed up in my transparency and my vulnerability when I was signing them up for the coaching package. I didn't really understand what was going on in the coaching package, but you know what I knew how to do? I knew how to read. So I would get in front of the phone right here and my laptop right here, and I would say, y'all, I have no clue what I'm doing right now, but let's read it together. And I would read off the laptop. This package comes with this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And it says, right? When I first started with Herbalife, I wasn't an expert in supplements. I was learning. So I would get on the camera with the box and read it. It has blah, blah, blah in it. It has blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And people didn't mind because I didn't have to project myself to be something that I wasn't. I'm a leader. I'm a natural leader. I've been leading since I was 4 years old. Every group I got into, I would lead, right? This is no different. It's just that it's different information. I lead with transparency. I lead with compassion. I lead with vulnerability. I lead with a tremendous belief in human potential. That's what I lead with. So I have belief in my own potential and in yours. Now, do I have dark moments? Absolutely. I'm human. And I need to tell you that. And you need to see that. Here's an example. When I first started homeschooling, I had a homeschool mentor, and I swear, this woman to me was the epitome of the woman and mother that every person should aspire to be. And I just couldn't see that she had days where she would fuss at her children or days where she felt depressed or inadequate. I just couldn't see that in her. I was just like, no, this woman is every day of her life confident. I needed to see her in her transparency, though, because that's what was going to give me the fuel to keep going on the days where I felt like throwing in the towel, like, what the hell am I doing? So then she started showing me her vulnerability, how sometimes they wake up late, or sometimes this happens, or there's more laundry than she knows what to do with, things like that. Then I began to see, okay, there's an end point. If she has come out to be like this, then there's hope for me too. And that's what I hope to be for everybody. You know, I didn't start off doing push-ups. Yeah, let's do push-ups. I started off in a tabletop position, right? And I progressed, and I help people do the same thing. It's part of how I lead. So what's the point in all of this? There's so many stories I can tell you about things that I've done and succeeded at where I wasn't qualified by the people around me. I just don't have it in me to be stagnant. Rest, yes, but stagnance is not in me because I wasn't groomed like that. My dad was a choir director, right? And so I could not be paralyzed by fear. I couldn't, because if he put the mic in my hand, I needed to be able to sing. He always wanted me to speak and develop that part of me. So if he called me up, I had to be ready to speak. There was no freezing. Like, that just wasn't an option, not to me at that age. Now, that was hard being a little girl, but it helped me be who I am, right? So if you could tell me, hey, I want you to do a presentation, and I can know nothing about the presentation, but if I can read, I'll show up in my person and I'll give you the information from what I'm reading, right? So I just want to encourage you, somebody out there who is playing small, who is not showing up, show up. Have the audacity to show up. Just get it in you. Don't worry about what the people around you are going to think and say, because you're not here for them. If they're determined to see you as not ready when you feel ready, then let them. I remember when I first started teaching Zumba, my Zumba mentor told me I wasn't ready. Well, one of them. So that the official mentor told me I wasn't ready. But my mentor that I picked up in my heart, Eric, he's on here now. I sat in the office with him and he said, do you think you can take over my classes? And I said, I don't know if I'm ready because X, Y, and Z said thus and so. He said, do you feel ready? And I said, yeah, I feel ready. He said, well, then don't worry about that. And I didn't. Did I have anxiety? Sure. Was I afraid? Sure. But I did it. And if I hadn't, if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be here talking about this. You got to just do things when you feel ready. My sponsor right now, Yamil, I would be telling her, I got a plan. I got to do this. She said, Miss Veronica, just do it and fix it along the way. That clashed against everything within me because I like to plan and I like to play small, right? That part of me inside that wants to be perfect and everything to be just right. She said, start it and fix it along the way. And I did that, and here I am. So I'm telling you, sometimes you got to start it and fix it along the way. I remember there was a webinar I sat through about coaching, and this was an established coach, okay? And she said, there's never going to be a perfect time to start. Just start. This is an established coach, well-known, very successful, and she just said to me, even though she has her whole coach training program, she just said, there's never going to be a perfect time to start. Just start. I take advice like that literally. You know why? Because it's the opposite of the way I have been conditioned to think about life. I want to be a perfectionist. I want to be pleasing. I want to be all of this, but at the same time, that's not going to get me where I need to be. So I'm talking to people like me. Let's get started. What do you want to do? What do you need to do? Who are you becoming? Start showing up and being it, and show up full. Like, have some audacity about it. Yes, I have the audacity to call myself a coach. I have the audacity to call myself a successful business owner because that's who I am. I have the audacity to speak to you, even though if I turn off the camera, I might shed some tears. I do have the audacity to give you a message from Spirit because I have committed my life as a vessel of healing to the collective. I want to help you live a healthier and happier life. How dare I get in front of you and talk about products? Everybody wants to eat natural. No, there's some people that need the shake that I'm offering because they're eating Chick-fil-A every day and they think that's healthy and their body is depleted and they don't know it. But as soon as they start drinking my shake, soon as they start drinking my tea, they have good energy. They're smiling. They're coming to my class. They couldn't do a plank. Now they plank jacking. That's what I'm here for. So everybody else, it don't exist to me except inside of me. And when people do come to me with some kind of negativity, which is very rare in terms of business, I take it as them showing me a deep place inside that needs to be healed. And then I have a container of healing for that. Okay, I'm done. I gave myself the ability to talk as long as I want to share whatever I wanted to share in whatever kind of way, because I know it's going to touch somebody. And there's so many people who have done that for me. So many people who have gotten on live and just thought they were mumbling, but every word was hitting my heart like a dart every single time. And that's why I'm here doing the same thing, because somebody needs it. There have been people who had such a good message, and the live was like 3 minutes, and I was like, no, don't go. Like, I want the rest of it, you know? So I'm going to take this time to give this to you because somebody wants it like that. There have been people who have said, your lives are too long. They're too this. I used to spend so much time editing videos. I don't do that anymore. I'm less stressed. I work less, and I get more clients. How you like that? So sometimes people want you to be in a cookie cutter model, but in my astrology, I have a need to be rebellious. And I didn't just learn that from my astrology. I already knew it, because I can't take people telling me how to do a thing that's in my soul. Now, if it's not in my soul, or if it's in my soul but there's an actual process, then okay. For example, I couldn't get my bachelor's degree doing what I wanted to do, right? So I had to follow that process. But in things that are not so strict and stringent, like coming here and speaking, calling myself a motivational speaker, a coach, an author, or whatever, I can call myself what I want. And if you don't get the broadcast, then that's all right. That's it. So let me tell you one quick thing before I go. So to become a life coach, the field is unregulated. You know what that means? That means there's no governing body telling you what training should be, what it should consist of, et cetera, et cetera. Meaning, you could take a training for 1 day, you could take a training for 6 months, you could take a training for 6 years. All of those situations will lead you to be able to call yourself a coach, okay? Now, the magnitude of the skill, right, that is able to be disseminated depends on the time in the program. But my point is, there's nobody saying you can't be a coach. No governing body, no entity saying that, right? Now, to become a therapist or a counselor, there's a whole board governing that. And it's against the law to practice counseling, therapy without a license. But coaching is not like that. I could wake up in the morning and call myself a coach, right? And if you're coaching, then you are a coach. Now, if you're coaching in a particular methodology, then that's different. But you don't need a methodology to call yourself a coach. Now, let me stick this in there. The reason I started training life coaches is because I realized that people don't really know how to help people. They're advice giving, they're shaming, they're preaching, they're teaching, they're mentoring, but they're not coaching. And coaching is about helping people become their best by helping them to solve their own problems through thought-provoking questions, right? That's what it is. And yeah, you have to learn that from somewhere. You can learn it from YouTube. You can learn it from a book, right? There's no governing body saying you can't be a coach. If you want to use a particular method, yes, you do have to get trained. What's my point? My point is you don't have to wait if you're doing it already. You are the thing that you're doing. Sure, increase your skill. Sure, learn methodology. Sure, increase your value. But move along the way. That's my point. That's my point. All right, that's it. If y'all have any questions, let me know. If you're sitting there thinking, I would really like to become a coach, but I don't like fitness, well, we can work with that. I really would like to become a coach, but I don't want to give nutrition plans. Okay. I want to become a coach, but I don't want this or that. Okay. You could create whatever you want to create, and I can help you. I'm willing to. Now, I'm going to move on to the second part of my day, which is homeschooling. I had my morning sessions, and I'm going to homeschool and come back for evening sessions. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you if you need anything. I'm done talking. Y'all have a good day now.